Nathan Chen blasted as traitor on Chinese social media after 2022 Olympics gold. After leading Team USA to a silver medal in the team figure skating competition and winning his first Olympic gold in the men's individual event, Nathan Chen has been slammed on Weibo, the Chinese equivalent of Twitter. The 22-year-old Chinese American was labeled a traitor on the social media platform for choosing to represent the United States, and was even told to get out of China. After his victory Thursday, some on Weibo complained that Chen was too white and Americanized, citing a long list of examples where they thought Chen was insulting China with his actions. Chen has previously refused to speak Chinese interviews, claiming that his Mandarin isn't very good. The Yale student put his support behind American ice dancer Evan Bates' condemnation of China's human rights abuses in an October interview, and at the time, Bates came down hard on China's awful treatment of the Uyghur people. The U.S. did not send any diplomats to the Winter Olympics in Beijing because of the egregious human rights abuses and atrocities. According to Reuters, Bates said, "We're human beings too, and when we read and hear about the things that are happening there, we absolutely hate that. We hate what's going on there during a U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee event. I agree with what Evan was saying," Chen added. "I think that for a greater change to occur, there must be power that is beyond the Olympics." Pushback against Chen began during his first Olympics in 2018 when he performed one of his routines to a song from the movie Mao's Last Dance, which is a retelling of a Chinese dancer's defection to the United States during the 1980s. Chen claims he had no knowledge of the film before performing to this song. "Maybe naively, I didn't understand the whole system, the whole story behind it. Just that the music was very beautiful," he said Friday, adding that the song was chosen by his choreographer. Chen has not responded to any of the vitriol toward him, and he has only said that he is proud of being Chinese American. He said it hasn't been difficult to avoid the online barrage because he doesn't have access to the platforms in China. "I don't have social media here, so I probably have been very sheltered from that, and I don't plan on looking at social since sometimes social media can be a little toxic," he said. He has also discussed the importance of Beijing, the place where his parents first met. "It means the road to be able to be here. My mom grew up in Beijing, and of course, my dad spent a lot of time in Beijing as well." Shen has been compared to fellow US born athletes Eileen Gu and Zhu Yi, both of whom are competing for China at the Winter Games. Gu, a freestyle skier, won gold in women's big air and was lauded as a Chinese national hero. The 18-year-old who plans to attend Stanford next year has been labeled Miss Perfect on Weibo for skiing skills, modeling career, and perfect Mandarin. And in the past week, Gu has defended China's internet censorship, which was promptly criticized on Twitter and Instagram by those who thought her response was out of touch with the actual experiences of those living in China. In the team figure skating event, Zhu faltered and fell twice, dropping China from third to fifth place. The hashtag Zhu Yi has fallen, trended on Weibo after her stumble, and users told the 19-year-old to go back to America and said she brought shame to China. Zhu, whose family is relocated from California to Beijing, has been widely criticized for her lack of fluency in Mandarin and for being what is deemed too American. Zhu renounced her U.S. citizenship to represent China, and while it is unknown whether Gu did the same, it is traditionally a requirement to compete for China. So it's pretty interesting to see what ends up happening because basically you have multiple Chinese American Olympic caliber athletes, and you have one of the three representing America because maybe they just love America, and you have the other two who obviously do not love America representing China. So it's very interesting. And it's also very interesting to see how a lot of people in the Chinese culture in China, basically, are reacting to the two individuals that basically potentially rescinded both of their citizenships for America to represent China, how they like are reacting to both of them, because you got one that is obviously at a higher tier, at a higher caliber, so they view her as a much better example of China, and the other one is like, oh no, you're not really that good, so go back to America kind of thing, right? Like it's pretty like hardcore stuff because basically Zhu is the lesser caliber one and is openly willing that she basically got rid of her US citizenship, right? So she purposely got rid of her US citizenship to represent China, only to basically not really do that great and basically being viewed as a disgrace by people in China. So it's kind of interesting to see that play out, right? Because basically, the people in China who are watching this don't really care necessarily that you were from America as long as you are a good representation for China in terms of, oh, you could actually win us stuff. You could actually get us stuff, right? We'll care about you then. Oh, you're actually fluent in Mandarin? Okay. You're a little bit better example of being a representation of China, right? Like you're good enough to represent China, right? So it's just an interesting way to kind of like view things because what a lot of people don't understand is a lot of Olympic athletes don't actually make a lot of money. Like a lot of them don't, right? Like you don't just make a lot of money for simply being an Olympic athlete, right? Now, China is a little bit different where they might actually directly pay their athletes a good amount of money to be top tier, especially in a situation, right, for people to come from America that are high ranking Olympic athletes to China so that they could win over America, right? Like get wins over America. They are more inclined to pay athletes a good amount for that. But if you're like an Olympic athlete in America, you're not really directly getting paid by the Olympic Committee or by the government. I should be more specific, right? Whereas other countries, a lot of other countries actually pay their athletes a lot of money to simply compete and actually get like a medal, right? I believe there's one country that was willing to pay like $1 million just for someone to get a bronze not too long ago. That being said, both of the Chinese American Olympic athletes that, you know, went to China, right, to represent China, both of them, I believe, got multiple $1 million contracts with companies within China. So they actually made millions upon millions upon millions of dollars from Chinese based companies. So for them, you really got to ask, okay, was this a thing because you wanted to actually represent China, or was it because this is a massive money grab? Oh, by the way, you don't have to pay the United States taxes once you rescind your citizenship. Now, it's like a interesting process with like renouncing your citizenship. In a lot of cases, you're still going to have to pay some sort of taxes based off like what you had. So they probably could have easily like just rescinded their U.S. citizenship, paid the taxes of the stuff that they of their assets that they had at that time, and then basically pocketed millions upon millions upon millions of dollars, basically tax free away from the United States. That being said, what a lot of people keep forgetting, and these Chinese Americans that rescinded their citizenship forget, is just how bad China actually is, right? China, the government, the CCP, will easily just take all of your money regardless of who you are. Like, they don't care. And a lot of people kind of like overlooked it. Like, these Chinese Americans overlooked this. Guess what? If you were to end up living in China, if you wrong China in any way, they're going to put the slap down on you. So I think it's pretty cool that the Nathan Chen guy decided to represent America and won gold. I think that's pretty cool. And he is definitely correct that social media can be just a tad bit toxic.